The Lifestyle Show, presented by Selena Mackenzie.
Now, the book, The Christmas Companion, is your indispensable guide to a cosy, relaxed and memorable Christmas, made all the more magical with a little thoughtful planning. Well, joining us now is its author. Welcome to the show, Skye McAlpine.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Your book has got me really in the Christmas mood, really in the Christmas spirit.
Oh, that makes me very happy to hear.
Oh, it does. Because there's actually only about 3 weeks left now, aren't there?
That's the crazy thing. And it feels like maybe it's just me, and because I've kind of written a Christmas cookbook and I've been living Christmas for the past 3 years, but I feel like Christmas moves earlier every year.
Yes.
I think we kind of all get started planning and organising and getting in that festive mood a little bit sooner each year.
And I think you have to, as far as food's concerned. I think you have to. There's certain things. I mean, I'm not a Christmas cake or a Christmas pudding maker, but you do have to make them quite early, don't you?
Well, I think they improve with age. And there's definitely, I mean, I kind of always think Christmas pudding lasts forever. You could probably make one now and eat it in 15 years' time and it would be even more delicious. But I think there's also an element, I'm keen on getting started early because I think it eases stress over the kind of active festive period, as it were. I think that, Christmas can feel quite overwhelming and there's so much that we feel that we need to do. So the more we can do in advance, it's quite a nice way of eking out the joy of the holidays and just stretching it out a little bit. But it's also a really practical way of not feeling like you're slaving away in the kitchen over, on Christmas Day, as it were.
Yeah, that's the worst of it, isn't it? If you do have Christmas at home, then you're not able to enjoy it with the family because you're stuck in the kitchen half the time.
Yeah, you need to, that was really kind of one of the big intentions for me with this book, was to really share and think about strategies and ways to really ease that and to have that not happen. I think, Christmas needs to be a holiday for everybody, especially for the person who's cooking and hosting. Yeah. No one wants to be slaving away in the kitchen, and no one wants to be kind of working away in the kitchen whilst everyone else is sort of having champagne in the room next door and having a wonderful time. You all want to be together and you all want to be relaxing.
Yeah, you finally sit down and you're too tired to play the games.
Exactly. You're too tired to smile, let alone do anything else. You're just kind of, you've turned yourself into the Grinch.
So what would be your top tip to organise then? Is it things like checklists?
Definitely. I'm a big fan of the list. And I think I know it sounds really boring and unimaginative, but that's probably the simplest and most effective thing that you can do to kind of get yourself organised and get yourself ahead for Christmas, is make a big long list. And I put one at the back of the book. There's kind of like a things to think about, just sort of a series of prompts to get you going, creating your own list so you don't forget anything. Yeah. And then I think just start with one long, nice list. And then once you've got that list, you've got to go through it. And anything on there that doesn't spark joy, that anything on there that your heart sinks slightly, or you think, oh God, I've got to do that thing, you just cross that off and you get rid of that thing from that list. Either delegate or don't do it, but just don't have it on that list. Do away with it.
I think maybe I'm a bit of a nerd, but I think checklists are great. I think they're rewarding because once you start with your list and when you cross them off,
it's like your way through. It's such a good feeling, and also it alleviates stress. I know it sort of sounds like you're creating more work because you sort of sitting there thinking, God, you're telling me to sit down now and make a list. And yes, you do need to sit down for 20 minutes, half an hour and make that list and think about it. But once it's on paper, or I don't know, on the notes in your phone or whatever, but once it's written down, I think it's out of your head. So it's not bubbling away in there that you keep sort of going back to it and thinking about it. Oh, I mustn't forget this. I mustn't forget that. You sort of, it's, what is it they say? A problem shared is a problem halved. I think a problem on a list is a problem halved as well.
For sure. No, I agree with that. There's lots of things in the book. It's really a great Christmas companion, which is why the title. But I want to start off with the food, because in there you have recipes for cocktails and nibbles, including chestnut martinis. What are they?
Oh, that's my new favourite drink. It's basically chestnut syrup and vodka with a bit of ice, but it's so good and it's really easy. And what I like to do is I pre-mix it. So I get my chestnut syrup online. You might be able to get it in some delicatessens, but you can get it very easily online. And then you just mix it with the vodka. And then I put it, this is going to sound deeply unglamorous, but I put it in empty sort of old water bottles, big 1 litre bottles or whatever. And I pre-mix it. I put it in there use a little funnel to get it in there. And then I put it in the freezer. And so it's good to go and lovely and cold and ready. And so if I'm having a party or something, then I might decant it into, a chilled cocktail shaker or something to make it look a little bit more glamorous. But it means I'm not mixing drinks on the night, which I think is quite good. It's one less thing to think about.
Yes, exactly. Just enjoy them. On to the desserts, which is always my favourite. Candy cane hearts, which are great for Christmas. But you've also got flourless chocolate orange cake. How is it flourless?
It's just butter, sugar, chocolate, eggs, and a little bit of orange essence. Or if you could make it, you could make it with orange flavored chocolate as well, if you wanted it to be extra orangey. And it's a really good cake. And it tastes, I'm quite particular about a chocolate cake. I like a fudgy, rich chocolate cake. I don't tend to like I think a lot of chocolate cakes can be a bit too spongy, or you can't really taste the chocolate. It's almost a bit bland. So I like mine to be really sort of fudgy, and that's why I like the flourless. But also I love this cake because you can make it in advance. In fact, it actually, a bit like a Christmas pudding, it improves with age. I personally think it peaks on day 3, but just make it a couple of days before and then keep it in the fridge. So it's nice. So then it kind of goes nice and solid and it's easy to get out of the tin. And then you can kind of bring it to room temperature before serving, or just serve it fridge cold if you're happy with that. But it's a really good one.
Sadly, it wouldn't last till day 3 in our house.
That's always the risk. Maybe you need to make 2. Double up on quantities.
Exactly.
An eating one and a serving later one.
Now, Skye, I'm going to put you on the spot a bit here, so you can say no. But sadly, at 3:10, we should have been chatting to Philip Ashley Ricks. And he is a famous chocolatier in America. And he was going to tell us how to make some chocolate gifts. But we couldn't connect. So could you?
Well, there's a recipe in the book. I mean, I don't know how to make chocolate from scratch because I'm sadly not a chocolatier, although in another life I would very much love to be one, because that does sound like the dream job. But I've got in the book, there's quite a good recipe that I like to do with my boys, and it's a cute little gift. And it's hot chocolate sticks.
Ooh,
so
lovely.
you basically melt down hot chocolate. So you melt down chocolate, and you could do milk chocolate or you could do dark chocolate to taste. And then I get one of those silicone little mini muffin tins, tiny little muffin tins, and you pour the melted chocolate in there, and then you I finely chop some candy canes and sort of sprinkle that in. And then the stick of the candy cane, so the straight bit of the body before it curves over, you kind of stick that in the pool of hot chocolate so it's standing upright, and then you set it. And then what you end up with is sort of a bit like a chocolate lollipop, but the lollipop stick, as it were, is a candy cane. And then you've got a lump of chocolate at the end. And you make they're great little gifts, or they're great for kids, or they're great for anyone who loves chocolate and peppermint together. You just warm some milk in a mug, and then you twirl your little lump of chocolate with a stick in there. And it's sort of lovely kind of after 80 kind of tasting hot chocolate drink.
Well, you took on the challenge and you smashed it. Well done.
I did my best.
You certainly did. And also in the book, you give inspiration for decorating, because everyone likes to decorate their homes. It's not just about the tree, is it?
No, although I do love a good tree, and there's so much fun to be had with the tree. But I think it's all sorts of other fun things you can do, like paper chains. I love paper chains all over the house. I do lovely ones. I've made ones I've collected over the years, scraps of beautiful marbled paper. So I've got these lovely marbled paper chains that I put everywhere. And then I love a good bow. I've got to say, I think there's a lot you can do with just a strand of velvet ribbon or satin ribbon and tying it in a bow, and sort of tie them everywhere, or little bits of greenery that you've collected, popping them in here and there and adding some bows onto them. I like to do jars of candy canes and jars of chocolate coins and all these sorts of things just dotted around the house. They do kind of stretch the Christmas spirit throughout the house, which I think is really nice.
I bet your boys love it. And do you make your own advent calendars as well?
I do. So that's something my mother used to do for me. And it's she's sort of created a rod for all our own backs, because now I do it for my own boys, and it's always the kind of thing that seems like such a wonderful idea. And then on the sort of last night of November, you're up wrapping little presents into the wee hours of the morning. But it's really easy to do. Just it's a big, you can buy them it's like a sort of big cloth, like a bit like a hanging tapestry, as it were, like a hanging cloth. And then it's got little rings on it, and you tie a little present to each day of Advent. And then you open that little present each day, or you can make your own. And there's a simple how to in the book, and it doesn't involve any sewing. I just use a glue gun and some felt, and it's actually really easy to do. So we have that, and I just wrap a tiny little present for each of the boys. For each day between now and Christmas Day. And it's really fun to do, and a lot of thought goes into it. And you can make it quite personalised. You can do stickers or tiny toy cars or whatever, pencils or pens or rubbers or, whatever they're into, you can kind of do like tiny little presents that add in. So it's quite a fun thing to do. And it really builds up the anticipation for Christmas Day.
That's the thing, isn't it, about homemade gifts? There's a lot of thought that goes into it, and people appreciate that.
I think so. And I think the thing about presents is so often you don't know what to get someone. And I think that's because I find I go to the shops or I look online and I just can't find the thing that articulates the sentiment. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't find the thing that says all the things that you want to say.
Yeah.
And somehow when you go to the time and the effort, and it's often less time and less effort than you would think, but a little bit of time and thought and effort to make something for someone, I think you're able somehow to layer in that sentiment, which ultimately is, an expression of love and care for someone and appreciation for them. And I think that's somehow easier to do with something that you've made yourself rather than with something that you've bought from the shops.
And if you enjoy crafting, then it's fun as well.
It's fun, and crafting. And then the other one is baking. I do think, if in doubt, make someone a Christmas cake or some cookies or a few brownies or something like that. It's always going to be appreciated. Edible gifts, I think, are always appreciated, most especially at this time of year when we're all hosting so much or spoiling ourselves or being a little bit greedier than we might be the rest of the year.
Definitely. And there's so much in the book, but one more I just wanted to ask you about: handmade crackers. You make your own crackers?
Yes. Well, I'm new to this, but I just feel like I've been around all the shops, and it's really hard to find nice crackers that aren't sort of crazy expensive. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try and make my own. And actually, it's incredibly simple to do. And again, it's quite fun because you can put your own little presents in there. So you could put tiny chocolates, you could put a little lip balm in there, a little, hand cream, a hair tie or whatever, like fun little pencils. Again, fun little presents that feel thoughtful and intentional for the person that you're going to share the cracker with. And then, again, you can use scraps of wrapping paper and ribbons, and they look so beautiful. And there's actually genuinely, there's a how-to in the book, but they're so easy to make. I think I'm never quite going to go back to shop bought crackers again. But the other thing you can do, if that feels like a step too far, making your own from scratch, I'm quite a big fan of zhuzhing up crackers. So you buy really basic ones from the shops, and then cut off the ribbons that are often the bit that looks a little bit sad, and then just tie your own bow onto them, your own ribbon, and do lovely big velvet ones or satin, and leave the nice long sort of floppy tails on them, and they just suddenly go from being quite basic supermarket crackers to looking like proper luxury crackers that you could have bought somewhere like Fortnum and Mason or somewhere really extravagant.
Yeah, you can make anything look pretty with a bow.
Put a bow on it and it's going to look fabulous. Oh. It's a life philosophy to live by.
Wonderful. And you're busy because you're a food writer, and you also sell beautiful tableware by the looks of it.
Oh, I do. Thank you. I'm actually sitting in the stockroom. We've got a pop-up on Elizabeth Street in London at the moment. Just it's a fun Christmas shop with all our tableware and a few other Christmassy bits. So I'm hiding in the stockroom at the moment.
Where it's quiet.
Piles of boxes, exactly. Where it's deeply unglamorous, but hopefully not too noisy. So anyone who's in London, come say hi.
Yes,
come see us in the shop.
Elizabeth Street, did you say?
Elizabeth Street, near Victoria Station.
And you also
spend
time.
Street. It feels very festive.
You spend time in Venice as well, I believe.
Yes. Yes, I do. So I grew up there, and we have a home there. My mum still lives there, and that's where I'm going to be for Christmas this year. So I'm really excited to make my way out there soon.
How beautiful. Well, you're the author of 3 other books, Table in Venice, quite rightly, A Table for Friends and Table of Love. But this particular one is The Christmas Companion, Recipes, Crafts and Inspiration for a Magical Festive Season. We're selling it right now on our website for our listeners. Just go to tre.radio. The author is Skye McAlpine, who we're chatting to now, and it is out now. Skye, do you want to give us your website as well?
Oh, that's so kind. My website is Skye McAlpine Tavola, which is spelled TAVOLA.com. And Tavola is Italian for tableware, and we sell all things tableware.
Oh, wonderful. Well, it's been great to chat to you. Have a wonderful Christmas.
You too, and thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks, Skye. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.